Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, the cash cow, the YTBC, and I came here to talk some boxing. Now, first of all, I just wanted to say God bless everyone out there. Hope you're doing good wherever you're at watching this video right now. Just peace and blessings be upon you. God bless everyone. Make sure you show some love in them comments, smash that like button, do all that good stuff. And I just wanted to talk today about Anthony Joshua because he just did an interview with Adam Smith of Sky Sports. I saw it this morning. And it was a very interesting interview. I think it was very telling about where he's at psychologically, where he's going mentally as well as a fighter. He spoke a lot about the Ruiz fight and just where he's at. And they did the interview at the Finchley Boxing Club, which is Anthony Joshua's gym where he was an amateur. And I plan on going to the Finchley Boxing Club when I am in the UK come December, when we go there for that True School Sports takeover in December, so that should be a lot of fun. But he was at the Finchley Boxing Club and he was talking to Adam Smith, and he said a couple of things. I was listening real carefully to what he was saying, and one of the things he said in the interview that I thought was interesting was they asked him about what he's going to do with his trainer situation, because there's been a lot of speculation that he might fire Rob McCracken. He might get rid of Rob McCracken. And I admire AJ for this. You know, he was very, very admirable in the interview. He said the following. He said, you know, Rob McCracken's been my more than just a trainer to me. He's helped me as a man, he's helped me as a person, and he's taken me from a novice as an amateur all the way to the world championship in the professional ranks of boxing. So I'm not going to get rid of him. We're just going to add to what we already did. But one thing that was interesting is he didn't dismiss like bringing in other people to come help him. So who knows, man? Maybe we might see Anthony Joshua take the advice of a George Foreman, or maybe, you know, I did an interview with Riddick Bowe, former undisputed heavyweight champion. He might come down here to Miami and get some help from Riddick Bowe. You know, I think that'd probably be the best thing for him, is to come work with Bowe. Bowe's an exceptional boxing mind. But you know, maybe we might see a Stacey McKinley or some other, you know, sound trainer. But he basically said that I had to come back and come back to the Finchley Boxing Club because this is where it all started, and I had to come back and just get in this boxing environment and get my hunger back. He actually said I had to get my hunger back. And when you hear a fighter talk like that, you know, and when you hear Joshua speak like this, it's implying that when he fought Ruiz for the last fight, that maybe his hunger wasn't quite there. Now, there's always been plenty of speculation from Joshua haters and just boxing fans in general that maybe Anthony Joshua had lost his hunger, because you got to understand something. This was a guy who won the world title really early in his career, was unified champion really early in his career, and was performing so far and above where he actually was as a fighter so early in his career that there were a lot of expectations on him. He was the man in the division at a stage in his career and at a stage of his life where he wasn't supposed to be the man in the division. I think that's what gets kind of lost when we speak about Anthony Joshua. You know, he was a fighter who was unified champion of the heavyweight division, who was the man in the heavyweight division without truly ever being a finished article as a fighter. And I think with him losing to Andy Ruiz Jr., if he handles it well, which so far I think he has handled it well from all of his interviews and stuff, he's handled it really, really well. The loss, he's approaching things the right way. Mentally, I think he's in a different place. He's in a better place since the loss. I think this is the first step towards him becoming that finished article as a fighter and becoming the best Anthony Joshua he can become. People are writing him off, people are slagging him off, people are saying, oh, well, Anthony Joshua's trash, he lost to Ruiz, he was a bum, he was a hype job, he was exposed. But the same people, I didn't see them unifying titles. The same people who criticize Anthony Joshua, some of them are boxers too, which is the funny part about it. So you would think as fighters they would understand what the significance of what Anthony Joshua was doing in his career, you know, with such little boxing experience, to become unified champion, to become the man in the heavyweight division. You know, it was really exceptional stuff. But in this interview with Adam Smith, Anthony Joshua, he was just very candid. He said, look, I got to get around back in this gym. I want to get as many boxing people around me. I want to just soak everything in. I want to soak more new knowledge in, because, you know, I just want to get my hunger back. And, you know, you look at his eyes, you listen to his voice, he sounds like a more hungry fighter, he sounds like a more determined fighter. And, you know, I'm expecting, I don't know when that fight's going to happen. Selfishly, I hope that fight takes place in December in the UK, because I'll be in the UK, so fingers crossed on that one. But selfishly, I'd want Anthony Joshua to have that fight in the UK. But whatever happens, I'm sure he'll be prepared for it, because, you know, he's a fantastic fighter. regardless of what the LDBC or his haters may say, he's still a fantastic fighter. I mean, he did more in his 20 plus fights than, you know, Wilder or Fury did when they had their first 20 plus fights. So he's an exceptional fighter, and he's improved. Even though he's not champion right now, he's behaving like a champion. And when a fighter starts to behave like a champion and he starts to talk like a champion, you know, you can kind of see it in Anthony Joshua in that interview. In my opinion, I think psychologically he's in a better place. You know, he's went ahead and done a couple of things since the fight. Like, I know he went to Nigeria and got around his people, which I think also may have helped him psychologically. He also went ahead and said this in the interview. He said that, you know, Andy Ruiz Jr. didn't fight the best Anthony Joshua on that night, but I think I fought the best Andy Ruiz there is to fight. And, you know, to be honest with you, like, I'm a Joshua fan, so I'm not disagreeing with him because I like him. I think he's right. I 100% think he's right. I think we saw the best. And I mean, for those of you who've been following Andy Ruiz's whole career, I think you would agree with me that was the best he ever fought. And for those of you who have watched Anthony Joshua fight for most of his career, you would agree that probably that might have been the worst he fought, with the exception of maybe the Carlos Takam fight. You know, so he really and the crazy thing is, he fought hard. What gets lost in translation since he lost is, that Anthony Joshua, yeah, he got blown out, but he knocked Ruiz down first, and in doing so, he became the first man to knock down Andy Ruiz Jr. So while Ruiz showed and displayed that he could beat Anthony Joshua, even at his worst, displayed that he could put Andy Ruiz in some very vulnerable and uncomfortable situations. So the interview was really refreshing. It was good to see Anthony Joshua in good spirits, and I feel like, you know, to be honest with you, I don't know. I go back and forth. Sometimes I've watched film on Anthony Joshua. Like a couple weeks ago, I went back and I binged watch a couple of his fights. Like, I watched the Klitschko fight. I rewatched the Klitschko fight. I rewatched the Dillian White fight. Like 2 or 3 fights of his, and, you know, in seeing some certain habits, I said, well, Andy Ruiz is gonna win the rematch for sure. But then it's like, when he starts talking like this, and I start seeing the hunger come back, it makes me want to believe, because he's still a fantastic fighter, you know, and a lot of the greatest fighters in boxing history, particularly at heavyweight, they didn't become the best version of themselves until they lost. And you know, so like, we look at a guy like Evander Holyfield. He lost to Riddick Bowe in the first fight. He comes back, wins the second fight, and, you know, he went on to do some great things as a fighter, you know. Same thing with Ali when he lost to Frazier. You know, he would definitely go on to do some great things after he lost to Frazier. So, you know, it's a good friend of mine. Shout out to my guy Darren Mola. My friend Darren Mola. He always used to tell me he was my roommate for a little bit back about a year or two ago. He said, you know, it's a matter of perspective, and I think how you see the rematch for Ruiz versus Joshua is a matter of perspective. I don't think it's crazy to think that Ruiz can go in there and beat Joshua again, because I feel like style-wise, he is a difficult problem for not just Joshua, but almost every heavyweight in the world he's a problem for. And from the Joshua standpoint of things, you know, he was already a good fighter. I think for him it's a matter of, you know, when you hurt Ruiz this time, you got to finish him. And not even just that, I think he needs to get into better boxing shape. He's in shape. We know Anthony Joshua's in shape. He's built like a freaking Adonis, but there's too many muscles. There's too many weights, no gas, and he needs to work on more cardio. I know big ass dudes like him don't like to run. They don't like to get on the bike, but you better start running and get on that damn bike, AJ, because I feel like them damn muscles, too many of them, it's hurting you. You know, it's not a bodybuilding contest. This is not Mr. Olympia. All right, the goal is not to look like an Adonis. The goal is to win fights and render your opponent unconscious if possible. So, yeah, I'll leave the Sky, I'll leave the Sky Sports interview for you guys in the description, so you can go look for yourself and come to your own surmise. But let me know what you think, man. Like, Anthony Joshua kind of in that interview admitted that he had lost hunger for boxing, and I feel like that could be a byproduct of, you know, him getting so much so soon as a fighter. You know, because you know, at that stage of your career, you wouldn't expect a guy at the stage when he won the world title to be getting endorsement deals and selling out 100,000 seats and, you know, 75,000, 80,000, and this is on a routine basis. This is just a one-off thing. This is a routine thing, and he's really the only guy in boxing who was doing that at such an early stage of his career. You know, so it's a lot of pressure to perform. He was the guy that really was sticking that flag in the ground and being a great flag bearer for British boxing as a whole. So with AJ, now that he's lost, it's probably the best thing that ever happened to him, because now he can focus on boxing. He doesn't got to worry about protecting that O anymore. He has kind of like nothing to lose in a sense, and a fighter with nothing to lose is a dangerous fighter. And I think it's, again, like, it's the first step towards him becoming that finished article, becoming the best Anthony Joshua he can possibly be. And if he beats Ruiz in the rematch, it's going to give him a lot of confidence moving forward. If he beats him in an emphatic fashion, it will give him a lot of confidence for it. It could be one of those scenarios where it's like when Lennox Lewis lost to Oliver McCall or Hasim Rahman, and then he fought him in the rematch. Particularly Rahman, he fought Rahman in the rematch and just obliterated him. Like, absolutely obliterated him. So it could be one of those things. And we saw when Lennox lost to Rahman, he wanted to become a dominant champion and a great champion and one of the best heavyweight champions this sport has ever seen. So I feel like Anthony Joshua, if he goes and he handles it the right way, he could be on that Lennox Lewis type of path in boxing. And who knows? A lot of you Wilder fanboys, I know you want to write him off, and I know Wilder himself might even be writing him off just a bit because of how devastating Ruiz was when he fought Joshua. But I'm telling you right now, let Joshua beat Ruiz in devastating fashion and let him get that Wilder fight, and you'll see that it's the worst thing that could happen to Deontay Wilder. And anybody who wants to bet on that fight, when it does happen, my Cash App and my PayPal are in my About section. We can bet whatever you want whenever Joshua and Wilder fight in the future. Hopefully that does happen. But that's just my take on the whole situation. Anthony Joshua looking hungry, looking very, very ready for the rematch. He also said he doesn't care if it's in Mexico. He doesn't care if Ruiz's uncle is the ref. He'll still whoop him. So, when you hear a fighter start talking that way, it's good. It's good to see from AJ, because I feel like he needs to get that edge back. He needs to get what he once had back. And I don't think it's very hard for him to get it back. I think it's just a matter of, now you lost, now you face some adversity, and this is going to give him that extra oomph to push in the gym. So that's my take on AJ in this Sky Sports interview and just where he's at right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think about Anthony Joshua and his interview with Sky Sports? What do you think about the Anthony Joshua Ruiz rematch? Do you think this is it doesn't matter what kind of mental place he is, Ruiz is going to beat the hell out of him? Or is Anthony Joshua the real deal? He's going to come back, he's going to become heavyweight champion, and he's going to come back and put the whole heavyweight division on notice when he fights Ruiz. You let me know in the comments. I'll be looking forward to reading your comments. Leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of my videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dang. So until next time, take care, guys.